This week Express revealed that a report had surfaced, allegedly leaked from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, which confirmed the legendary Roswell UFO crash happened, dead aliens were found, and there was a government cover-up. Roswell has been at the heart of the UFO scene since July 1947, when the military sensationally announced in a press release it had found the remains of a crashed flying saucer in the desert nearby. But the following day it retracted the statement, saying it was in fact a damaged U.S. Air Force air balloon. Witnesses later came forward to say there had been alien bodies within the crashed craft, which along with the wreckage were then taken to a top-secret U.S. military base. The 47-page dossier, said to be drafted in the 1980s, contains a 6-page report on the Roswell incident, detailing how the UFO came down on July 2 or 3, 1947, and 4 decomposing alien bodies were recovered 2 miles from the crash site a week later. So far the consensus among UFO experts seems to be that the report is nothing but an elaborate hoax. Nick Pope, who investigated the UFO phenomena for the UK Ministry of Defence, MOD, until 2009, described them as fake with a capital F. Mr. Pope, who now speaks at UFO conferences across the globe, told Express these documents are completely and utterly bogus. As with previous such documents that have surfaced in the US, I suspect they've been hoaxed by someone on the fringes of the UFO community, playing an elaborate practical joke to see if they can put one over on the true believers. He spent 21 years in the MOD and said he knew how genuine documents were prepared. He said, "The language and the wider feel to the power of one of these UFO documents is just plain wrong. It to the power of 1's as if someone was playing buzzword bingo with all the words and phrases that excite UFO believers, and throwing in some New Age philosophy for good measure. Anyone sitting on genuine documents of this nature who really wanted to get the story out, I suspect, would have sent them to the New York Times, the Washington Post, or WikiLeaks, and not to a radio show host in the UFO community." But there are those who think the US government was actually behind it. Tom Livesey posted on Mr. Randall's blog, "I hope Nick Redfern is wrong and that this is disinformation, not a hoax. With documents such as this I suspect a phishing exercise, whereby people on the other side, who may be as perplexed as we are, put information out to see if the internet can come up with answers through pooled intelligence. The documents must be poorly written and obviously fake, or disclosure would actually occur, which is not the intent." Heather Wade, host of US late-night online paranormal radio show Midnight in the Desert, claims to have obtained the document from a known but unnamed military source who sat on them for years. She wrote on her website it had been passed to nuclear physicist Stanton Friedman, who is a long-term Roswell believer and Roswell investigator, and so far he had reported nothing to say they were faked. A statement on the Midnight she immediately had Stanton Friedman take a look at these documents, who said, "I have never seen anything like this." Stanton Friedman is going to continue examining these documents for authenticity, but at this time we can find no evidence of forgery. Nigel Watson, author of the UFO Investigations Manual, said previous Majestic 12 documents which surfaced were regarded as fake. But he was impressed by the lengths any hoaxer went to if the new report was bogus. He added, The amount of documentation and the details in them, including this latest document, does show a considerable amount of effort and knowledge has been expended to prove the presence of aliens in our midst. He even floated the conspiracy theory of government insiders releasing the false documents. He added, it could be part of a US government disinformation project or a hoax to try to smoke out the truth from the authorities. Certainly they are more fake than fact. UFO publisher Philip Mantle claimed it was irrefutable they were fake, as they referred to a fictitious location in Nevada. He posted on Facebook, "The final nail in the coffin is according to these documents, the secret MJ-12 HQ is under Flat Rock, Nevada, a fictional town invented for Michael Crichton's Andromeda Strain novel. Tin the Desert. Com website said, Heather Wade received documents last night from a trusted source. British UFO investigator Nick Redfern is convinced they are fake, and not part of a government misinformation conspiracy. He said on Facebook, while I don't know who faked those new MJ-12 documents, there's not a chance this is disinformation by a government agency. This is probably the work of someone in ufology, who is just waiting for certain UFO researchers to endorse the documents, and then the hoaxer will come forward and explain how and why he did it. He said with the 70th anniversary of the Roswell incident next month it was perfect timing. He added, I am looking forward to seeing certain ufological fence-sitters who will 100% refuse to denounce the documents. Why won't they denounce them? Because they fear they won't get booked at next year's conference here, or conference there, and are fearful of not being in with the in crowd of ufology anymore. Kevin Randle, a US ufologist, who worked at length on the Roswell case, said they were fake in a lengthy blog post that tore apart discrepancies in them. He said, the writing does not sound as if it came from a government source, and without names, without government agencies, without any way to check things out, this just doesn't to the power of 1T seem to be authentic. Mr. Randall blogged about Ms. Wade to the power of 1's source writing, I did ask Heather Wade about the source, or sources, and she didn't to the power of 1T give me names, only that they were ex-military and had possessed the documents for a very long time. She didn't to the power of 1T know which government agency had originated them, and there seemed no way to verify them through government sources. The Paradigm Research Group, PRG, set up to lobby the US government to end an alleged truth embargo which covers up the existence of aliens on Earth, is sitting on the fence. It has described the documents as important, but accepts they could be fake. It released a statement saying, over the coming weeks PRG will work closely with leading researchers into the history of the truth embargo and ET-related government documents to determine the quality of this evidence. It gave 4 possible explanations. Asterisk government disinformation. Asterisk fully legitimate government documents. Asterisk a hoax by a debunker. Asterisk a hoax by a believer, it added. The first two options are the most likely and about equal in probability. Steve Bassett, PRG founder, later said on Facebook, "Whatever the status of this document, real, hoax or disinformation, PRG's principal concern is that top researchers in the extraterrestrial phenomena research field be the first to assess this document and to the extent possible run it to ground before the debunkers and trolls do their thing." The message is this to either government disinformation entities or knucklehead hoaxers: this is not 1960 or 1970 or 1980 or 1990. It is 2017 and disinformation and hoaxes will be engaged immediately and your misguided effort will amount to little.